So that's from group 1 to 9. You can choose any number you want. And it's really useful if you don't want to waste time clicking on units. And everybody should be doing that. Like, if you're not doing that, you need to do it because it's just so useful. Here we can see this brutalist trying to do what's called a what's it called, turret rush or turret like push, you could say, because he's built his flat cannon right next to the multi-gunner turret, and he's going to build some Teslas and stuff here to try and take out these multi-gunner turrets. So turret pushing is really effective unless you're awake and you keep on rebuilding your defenses, and I can't stress that enough. I think Sasha rebuilds his defense like 5-6 times or something like that, along with building the vindicators. Boom goes the flak cannon. So you may be thinking, "Oh, this is so pointless. This is so stupid. Like, what's the point of this?" The point is that the brutal is focusing on rebuilding these like relatively ineffective. Like, I'm not saying the Russian defense is bad. It's the best in the game in my opinion. All I'm saying is that it's not effective like this. It's not even in use yet, or it can't. Like, if you're building it, it can't shoot anything while you're building it, and by the time it's ready, it's like in almost dead. So you have to focus on taking down the Brutal's base defense and eventually the refinery, because this is keeping him busy. Because if you look at what he's sending up, Warbear and Stingrays, and there's nothing that threatening. Look at this; it's quite like unbelievable, but it's true. This is brutal Oleg. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is. And that's what I was saying. This strategy is so savage that it's like Oleg's like, oh my god, what do I do? What do I do? And he's like panicking and building stingrays and warbears against, like, that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying against this, it's just horrendous. Like, what the hell is a stingray gonna do against the multi-gunner turret? Needless to say, a warbear is completely useless here. Um, if he wants to do something, maybe he could build, more air, or like, yeah, upgrade his navy to tier 3. That would be a lot more effective. But he's not, because he's kept busy by rebuilding bases, defenses. Don't know what happened there if you took out the base defense. But you do obviously want to focus fire on vindicators. Like yeah, I know, like, some of the things I'm saying, like, you'll be like, yeah, of course, but I'm saying it more for the people who haven't tried this strategy before or haven't played that much allies. That you want to focus fire vindicators, and eventually you become so good at microing them, you'll see, okay, like, you'll be able to tell, like, oh, this target is almost about to die, so I only need to use one of my vindicators out of 4 on this, and then you'll click on the other one. Like, microing, like, say you want to take this out, maybe it'll take 3 vindicators to take this out, and you'll be like, oh, the 4th one can then bomb the refinery. So after the 3rd one has dropped its bombs, you quickly right-click on the refinery, and that's called microing your vindicators. And that's a really, really good strategy. And if you're not doing it, you should be doing it, or at least practicing doing it. Um, that's what I do, and I know Gtmustang doesn't do that here because, like, he excels by doing other things, like employing good strategies, like he's doing here. But I know that he would say the same thing, like, it's a good idea to micro your vindicators because it's more efficient, get more bang for your buck, and that's always a good idea. Here comes very important Spectrum Tower. This has to be built. The strategy is not going to work without the Spectrum Tower because it just takes out these defenses so fast. Like, you can take out a defense, but if it takes you 10 minutes, it's not that effective, right? But if you can take out a flat cannon, or Tesla coil is expensive, right? If you take a Tesla coil out in a matter of like 20 seconds, then you know you're doing something right, because that's going to cost your opponent a lot of resources. So as you can see, Sasha's losing his multi-gunners, but he rebuilds them as soon as he loses them, while the Vindicators are making bombing strikes. I mean, this really is shock and awe. Like, you just sit here back and defend while your Vindicators punish this expansion. Pretty good strategy, I'd say. Pretty sound. I don't know if it was his first attempt or whatever, but it's pretty effective. Pretty effective play. And you see the Spectrum Tower is placed perfectly. and it's really gonna. I mean, it's hammering the Tesla coil. Tesla coil is what, like 1200, 1400 something. So that's a lot of cash being wasted. So yeah, and this is what I mean by commentaries against computers kind of monotonous, because so far we've been seeing vindicators and base defense, like spectrum towers. So yeah, there's not much to say here. Sasha does change his strategy eventually, but right now he's doing it perfectly because this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing against the Brutal. Take out the refinery. And now suddenly the Brutal's not looking so powerful. Because he's only got 2 refineries. Versus Sasha's almost 4 because he's expanded up here now. So when you're kind of having a peaceful phase, go for the Prospector, take the 4th refinery. It'll make the game go a bit quicker because you'll have economic advantage. Second airfield come up with Apollo fighters, and that's a must. I guess you could manage with 3 Apollo fighters, maybe even 2, and then use the other 2 for other 2 slots in the airfield for vindicators. Because they're so damn good. I mean, it's like nothing you can do against them sometimes. I'm saying this from experience. No, I'm used to play Japanese. That was my favorite faction. Still kind of is. Like, I love the whole Japanese anime thing, and those Tengus and VX choppers kind of remind me of that. So I love it. But I've recently changed to Russian. Because they're kind of cool. I mean, every faction is really awesome if you know how to play them. But yeah, I just changed to switch it up because Allies versus Japanese is just, if you play on the unpatched computer, Allies versus Japanese, the Allies are going to win invariably. Especially if you play against a hard ally or brutal ally, you're gonna get screwed. And also if you play as humans, like they're just so underpowered because they have such crappy anti-air. No infantry anti-air. So unless of course you have Red Alert 3 Uprising, the expansion, and there the Japanese have the Archer, which is their anti-air ground unit, which is infantry basically, and the Ronjin or whatever. It's like pretty cool. You can check it out on YouTube actually. Pretty cool units. And the Devastator. It's like massive airship which just bombs the shit out of everything. It's anti-air, anti-ground, anti-ship, anti-everything. And it shoots the same rockets as the VX choppers, so it's pretty damn effective. One thing I do want to talk about is Sasha's use of alt move. Like he takes these vindicators. There may be control group 1, and you press alt, and then I'm going to show you on the little map if you can see on YouTube. You click here, and you click here, and you click here maybe, and look at these vindicators are moving by themselves. He's not doing anything right now because he's alt moved them.